decade has seen a lot of Geelong schools progress in many academic fields. Sadly, in that same time frame, schools in the northern suburbs like Corio Bay Secondary and Norlane High have been forced to close. We will find out why this is the case and how this has affected the northern suburbs. Vacated blocks of land are becoming frequent across what used to be populated school grounds in the area. Local councillor Kylie Fisher explains more.
Going probably back before 2008, but I started at council in 2008, there was the thought of a schools regeneration which included 9 schools in the northern suburbs to become 5. So we've seen 4 closures, but it's at the opening of a trade training centre. I don't know the process of elimination. The education department sort of did that. So Roseville was the first to go, and I think the kids in Roseville sort of came down to Hendy Street, which was effectively then Corio Primary. So whilst there's been a regeneration, there's been a complete name change as well. So Roseville was the first to go, then we saw Flinders Peak close down, then we saw Norlane High School close down, and then we saw Corio South. So it's been primary, secondary effectively. Which is kind of, the spill has been across the schools in the north, but also probably outside of the northern suburbs as well.
Prior to the long-awaited demolition of a lot of these schools, the dangerous foundations which were hanging around for the public were often vandalised or
but they left the buildings standing there for such a long time. They were vandalised, they were burnt. The community that lived around them felt unsafe. They looked shocking. And so that was the negative impact on the community, saying do something about these school sites.
For like 5 years. It's a shame about the school, but it's good salvage for us. It's just, unfortunate about what the kids are going to do now, I guess.
So Peter, basically what you're saying is, because of all these ruins around Norlane High and Flinders Peak, you and your tradie mates pretty much just take what you want?
Pretty much, yeah. It's an unfortunate image, so I'd like to think we're cleaning up a little bit.
The negative effects started when it changes really, really hard, and I guess the education department needed to consider these community assets. So people that have kids now are going to these schools, so they've been up here for 40 odd, 50 years, whatever. So there was a real connection to the schools from the community. So when it was a decision to close some schools, there was absolutely negative impact. I remember Corio South probably had the most kids in the whole area attending, and it was the school of choice, if you like, and that was one of the ones that was chosen to close down. Flinders Peak, I was on the school council actually out there, as well as school council president of North Shore, and when we had to move a motion within school council to shut that, and the education department didn't send anyone to support the council, and there were students on that, and I felt really that was quite upsetting for the kids having to vote for their school to be shut.
Amongst those students was Lovely Bank resident Joshua Tate.
School captain there, and I was fortunate enough to go through their trade program, which was fantastic, and it landed me a job. It's sad to see that it's been demolished now. I think there was fantastic opportunities at that school for the kids in that region. I really hope the new programs with the new school development will, provide opportunities for these kids, but at the moment I just don't see how it's going to come to fruition.
Well, there you have it. There truly are some alarm bells